and a string of affairs with various plumbers, repairmen, and co-workers, offering them a new lease on life. The most recent adaptation of the 1970s Quebec comedy, and it's playing at the Blue Mountain Film Festival this weekend, a festival that happens to be curated by our very own Jason Gorber. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Okay, give me your cell line. Why should people see... What is this film called, and why should people see it?
It's called Two Women. It's also playing Toronto, of course, so you get to see it there. But we happen to be showing it up at this festival. It's directed by Chloe Robichaud, it's a remake of Claude Fognier's original. Claude Fognier is one of the legends of Quebecois cinema, the sort of new Quebec cinema that came up in the 1970s. And this is a very different modernization, female filmmaker, it's slightly different gaze. And it is, yes, it's one of those classic... The French used to make these films all the time. It's a sex farce. But it's a sex farce about bored middle-aged women who are sort of tired of their husbands. But it has a sort of modernist twist in the sense that they're sort of using, gig economy to actually get some of the people who are coming by. You know, you can use apps for that these days. And so who do you have that's coming to fix the sink and stuff like that? It sounds totally ribald and silly, but it's actually incredibly sweet and it's really well done. And it's a very adult film in the sense that it's actually dealing with real emotions, real complications of relationships, and doing so within the sort of broader sort of comedic context. It's a very light, effervescent film that still is a little bit risque. It's exactly the kind of thing that we used to get all the time. And Chloe's direction is so immaculate. The performances are great. It's just this really, really lovely and charming film, definitely worth seeing and definitely worth checking out. And it's exactly the kind of thing. It played Sundance. So it was one of the big Canadian films that actually played Sundance, and it exemplifies the fact that in our country, we have a lot of great cinema in our country. I'm not certainly dismissing anything that's coming out of Anglo-Canada, but Quebec cinema often has the most electric, the most amazing talent coming out of it. There's incredible support in Quebec for Quebec cinema. Quebecers go to Quebec films and support them in a way that not always in English language Canada do we support our English language filmmakers until they become people like James Cameron and Denis Villeneuve, so a Quebec filmmaker himself. So I recommend highly, if you want to see sort of something at the forefront of what's going on in Canadian cinema writ large, this is absolutely one of those films to actually check out. It seems slight, but it's actually quite exceptional.
Now, Jason, many people listening will be well accustomed to you offering your thoughts, your deep thoughts, your contextual thoughts on films. It's another thing to
nerdiness. Nerdiness.
Your word, man, not mine. But it's another thing to curate a film festival. It's a big gig for you. What's it like doing that?
It's amazing. It's been a dream come true. For the last 2 years at Blue Mountain, I've assisted with Q&As. I did Q&As with the people behind Blackberry, with Daniel Beckman, who's on the creative board, who's the producer of The Apprentice and The Witch and all kinds of stuff. And they reached out to me when there was a change in some of the staff saying, do you have any ideas for programming? I'm like, do I? Who do you think we should get to be a programmer? I'm like, oh, I have an idea. And so the first thing that I did was I brought in, I knew that any of this stuff is always better when you're doing it in collaboration. So I brought in Rachel West and Pat Mullen, two of my associate programmers, and we've watched hundreds of films over the last 6-7 months to actually come up with 32 films, a whole bunch of Canadian premieres, some international festival favorites. And look, the whole reason I ever became a film critic, it's very easy to be negative about this stuff. It's very easy just to sit there and trash things. People like doing that all the time. If I can find a title or a series of titles that I can amplify, that I can find and actually bring attention to people, like Two Women, a film that a lot of people might not have ever heard of, but is absolutely worthy and worth your time. I'm just getting a chance to do it now on the festival front here in Blue Mountain. And it's an incredible privilege, one that I do not take lightly, and it's an amazing opportunity. I'm so excited to be doing it. And the festival's already kicked off, and it's doing really well. We showed Race Walkers yesterday, which was a slam dance film that is a goofy film about people doing race walking. It was a fantastic premiere. But yeah, I'm getting to show a Star Wars in Ojibwe, for God's sakes. I'm getting on the big screen, being able to show, without subtitles, I will be showing the original Star Wars translated into Ojibwe as a celebration of a film that totally transformed my life, a nice kid born in 72. But yeah, so the wide range between classic films, between contemporary films, festival favorites, things from Cannes, things from Sundance, and things just playing up here for the first time and showcasing to a community, not only up here, which is very hungry for cinema, but people coming in from all over the region. It's so, so exciting. And thank you for letting me talk about it.
Not at all. There's your pitch. Jason Gorber, thanks so much for your time.
All the best, David. Thank you so much.
That's Jason Gorber, Metro Morning's film columnist, who's also curated the Blue Mountain Film Festival. It is on now through the weekend. Jason's also the editor-in-chief of thatshelf.com.
That shelf.